Hey, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk. I am here on Sand River in my STA2. We're on an assault map. I'm in the north spawn, so we are on the attack. And we are going to call this one Push When It's Time. We've got to push when it's time. In addition, we're going to talk about gun depression. And first, though, we're going to talk about everyone's favorite subject, XVM. All right, so we're going to talk about XVM. Well, you don't want to hear about it. Well, I'm going to talk about it anyway, because here's the reason. It is reaching critical mass in the forums, in the game, people complaining about XVM, and specifically the chance to win percentage and things like people giving up. So let's talk about that for just a second in the context of assessing your team and the enemy team, where you might want to go and how the match may play out based on that. And what kind of attitude you should have about that when you look at all those colors up there. All right, you got the fruit salad going on. So let's take a look at what we have on this one. 44%. And if you look at it, I'm purple on my side, at least as the way I have XVM set up, and there are two purples on the other side. But you'll notice something interesting. Even though we're 44%, their purples are in an arty and in a scout. And while those two kinds of tanks can be great battle enhancers on the other side, they're not that easy to carry in. Not that easy to carry in. So if you look at the top players, they look relatively even, although their Centurion 7-1 is not great. So what does XVM take into account? It looks at the skill of the player. All it does is look at the skill of the player. What does it not do? It does not look at the tiering. It does not look at the class, and it does not look at the position that skilled player is in regards to tier and class. So the other team has two purples, but as I mentioned, they happen to be in an arty and in a scout. On our side, I'm over in the STA1, which is a tier 8, 2 tiers down, medium. So what does that mean to you? 44%, I've taken a look at all that, and I just say, golly, we're not going to win. That's a bad percentage. Well, you're going to win 44% of those battles. If you were to take these same players and run a simulation over and over and over again, at some point, given enough examples, everything being equal, it would be about a 44% win chance. But today is a singular game, and what 44% chance means is exactly that. I've got a 44% chance to win. It doesn't mean I'm going to automatically lose because it's below 50. Even if it was a 20% chance, it wouldn't mean I'm going to automatically lose. It says I've got a pretty good chance of losing. But if I can roll that 20% chance, I may win. What is the only constant in regards to all that? Well, you are. You are the only constant. So that means it's not exactly random, does it? What it means is you've got to perform. That's what it means, bottom line. So as we assess this and I look at it, if those two purples were both in the tier 10 tanks, at the top, then yeah, I'd be a little more concerned. That would mean a lot more than him being in a tier 9 arty and SC Yorkie down there in a tier 8 scout. So let's go. That's enough about that. This one is going to be talking about when to push. Now this is an assault map. A lot of people don't turn on their assault maps. There's a lot of tears and crying about assault maps, about how it's bad and you should turn it off. Well, I think that's a bunch of bunk. I like all three modes. You know why? Because they're fun. That's why. And it gives you a lot of different options. So here we come in here. I also happen to think that it lets you learn a little bit more about the positions on the map and lets you think a little bit differently about each map that has an encounter or an attack mode. Now that's helpful. Thank you, 1375. Right off the bat, that helps us out a little bit. We've got the Tiger 2 sitting up there. A couple other guys have showed up. Now this spot here is a pretty good spot. If you were on the assault side on this map, and we'll talk about this for just a moment, you really have three options. There's a fourth one I'll touch in just a moment. First one is to get here and start working this area. The second one is to go over here on this ramp and start working down the G line, or sorry, the 0 line. That's not a G, that's a 0. The third major one is this ridge and getting down into this pit, which can be decisive depending on how you do it. The last one I said I won't talk about very much is all these Julios. I don't think the M46 is actually moving forward, but these two Julios hanging out back here. You'll also see them hang out on these sand ridges right here, or maybe on this one, camping in the back. But this team seems to be pretty content to push forward, and we've got a large force coming this way. Notice how far out in front I am right here. I find that a lot. People kind of sit around and wait to see where everyone's going before they push out. So those are really the first few things. The nice thing about this position, it is relatively safe from Artie because of that hill right there in front of me. This one, however, is not as safe from Artie. Once you're on that little flat ramp right there, you can be hammered, although if you back down, there's a little bit of cover. Also, there is a ramp right here that the enemy will get on who can shoot you in the side. That's a position I like to take quite a bit if on the defensive side. So those are the three options. The one where I'm talking about coming down into the middle right here, you really need a pretty good strong push with multiple tanks. If you dive down in there with one tank, they are going to come in there and take you out quickly. But if you were to say take all these tanks and maybe this T-26 and they all just pushed in here, you can do some good work, but realize that is also covered. Most of that is covered with Artie, even if you're tucking up against this side, because Artie can kind of be in a lot of different positions right here. So that is the ins and outs of this map. Let's talk about the side I'm on right now. I'm going to tuck up right here, and now I'm going to start looking for any shots, because usually scouts, if you look where SC Yorkie and his 4190 is, he's hanging out on that middle, and he's trying to spot guys up there, and you'll see that you can often get shots here. The nice thing is I'm right on the edge of the scout's view range, so I should stay unspotted, and if our guys on the ridge are spotting him, I may get shots that he cannot know who is doing it. Well, he'll know who's doing it, but he will not see me, so I'll be invisible. You got the 7-1 coming down the middle. We have a pretty good push coming on my side over here, and the enemy team starts to react to it, kind of seeing that it's happening. Tiger 2's up above me. He's disappeared. I'll show you what I'm doing with my camera. So I'm just looking for shots of opportunity popping out here. Now he knows I'm over here, and he's also seen the rest of these clowns who are all out in the flat, hanging out over here. So they need to get in, and soon they will be up where I am, and we'll start working on these tanks. So we've got him down a tank. This guy's going to start to see me. I miss him. Now I am spotted, so I do want to tuck back here. Otherwise, I'm going to start taking aggro from the scout in the middle. The JT got tore up trying to get there. He is Thanos, the Mad Titan. Right now he's being Thanos, the Dopey Titan, because he's clearly not going to spot anybody in that thing. It's blind as a bat. And now he moves back because he's taking shots from people and he can't see them. So what I am doing here is attempting to figure out when it is I can get around this corner. Because it's one thing to take this position. It's another thing entirely to actually use it and do something with it. It's one of the reasons why this side is not as good, I would say, as the east side. It does not have as direct an access into their backfield. Because once you come around this rock, if there's anybody up on those dunes up in this area right here, you can get rocked pretty quickly. So there is an E50 up there. And I'm still working on the Centurion, and that scout's still in the middle. And these two morons continue to get hit. There you go. They finally figured out. Not in a good spot. This is actually interesting. I'll take a shot there. I am pretty quickly here. Now I am spotted. I am pretty quickly here going to actually get what I think is either a random shot or he may be shooting at one of my friends. But he's a good player, so he knows where the shots are coming from. When he's not spotted, we'll come around here and see that guy. I hit him, but do not damage him. And I'll just keep on backing because I want to avoid being shot by the scout. That 7-1's getting rocked, and the E50 is still hanging out up there. There's that shot I mentioned right there. Now realize it is assault, so you've got 10 minutes, and here we are at minute 6, and now I'm getting a little bit antsy. We have whittled them down. There are 4 of them gone. See the E50 just died? So that's important for my side. There was a Tiger 2 and an E50, and I start counting heads over here. I just get thumped by him again. He saw me that time. If I start counting heads, I'm thinking, all right, they're probably not too much over on my side over here. And man, we've got a lot of guys stacked up behind me, so at some point we've got to push. 5.5 minutes. All right, we're going. It's time to go. Got 5.5 minutes to clean up the rest of these guys. I get spotted. I'm going to come right up and over. This Tiger 2 doesn't seem to see me. Instead of shoot him in the turret, I'm going to come up till I actually have a good shot, light him on fire. I think he thumps me here. Yep, and we take him out. So now I'm up top. Oh geez, there's that 7-1. So he's come up top. He's going to get me again. We'll take him out. All right, so we've captured that important piece of terrain. Looking at the clock, a little bit under 5 minutes. We got to get going. The weight of guns is in our favor, but it's time to close the noose on these guys. Now look what's going on with my T-34, JT, and prototype. They are all still camping around that corner. Those are people who don't realize really what's going on. So we got the Artie here. Take a shot on him. I'm shooting him with heat for some stupid reason. As usual, I have forgotten I switched to gold. And I use it all up shooting a bloody Artie. All right, depression. I said we'd talk about depression. This is a great spot to use it. Poke over. Unfortunately, he thumps me, but now we've got the Revelos, whatever it is. He's coming. Just poke over my turret, take him out. And now I'm working on that great 7 hit points. We got Yorkie in the middle, down there. He's falling back, trying to figure out what's going on, see if he can't help somebody. And I'm going to poke up here. Now I know he out view ranges me more than likely. It's at least neutral, so I'd rather not really poke across there. Especially if he can out view range me. And I'm going to come back here and start looking for anyone in the middle here. I know they're down in there. I'm using that depression on this tank, just poking up enough for my view slit, my cupola where the commander sits, and see if I can't light one of these guys up. Oh, here he comes. Hit him once, just back up. All right, made him miss. As I backed up, I was showing less and less of my tank so that that snapshot would miss me. Another thing that may have happened there, I think I tracked him, so he may have actually been pointing right at me and shot the tracks. When I tracked him, then his turret turns to the side a little bit. I'm going to actually auto-aim this guy here just for center of mass. Get a shot on him. And the last thing we'll talk about here, sitting at 2,400 damage with 6 kills. So I end up being an ace tanker with my STA-2. Last thing I'll talk about is, if you want to be a good player that is racking up the damage, you've got to always be looking for the opportunity to shoot somebody. So I could have just hung out up there, hung out, easy for me to say, hung out up there and let these guys kill him. Look, there's 3 tanks just swarming in that Leopard PTA. What you're going to find out is they get scared to push in on him because he's probably reloaded. I think they'll take a shot here. There you go. So I'm actually going to scoot up here, get a little high ground, find him, and drop a shot on him. So a little knowledge, a little skill, a large dose of RNG, and I end up stealing another 100-something hit points and a kill out of that because I never gave up looking for damage. All right, so it's not the end-all be-all to do damage. That's not the ultimate purpose as far as I'm concerned anyway of the game. The purpose is to win. But if you're looking to up that DPG, then those are the kind of things you've got to do, especially end game on cleanup phase. Get your tank into a position to take a shot, and take a shot, because you will never get damage for the shot you did not take. All right, so we talked about when to push. We talked about a little bit about gun depression, a little bit about end game, picking up damage, and a considerable discussion about XVM, what it means and what it doesn't mean. I hope this helped you guys. Take care.